So I thought I'd talk a bit more today about my experiences with ayahuasca. Um, if you're thinking about doing ayahuasca, you need to carry on watching this because I'm about to tell you all about my experience so far. So when I first started doing plant medicine, I was very surface level. So when I first went along, my intention was I wanted to know where I belonged in the world, which I think a lot of people do. You kind of go along to these things, all these ceremonies, trying to work out where you belong and what you're meant to be doing, and where your life path is guiding you. And so when I first started doing plant medicines, I literally went along for like a two ceremonies. And on the first night, I received nothing but love. It was so beautiful. Never thought anything like, never felt any kind of love like that ever in my life. And it was so pure and so beautiful. And then my second night wasn't quite the same. Um, the second night is something that I still think about a lot and was completely unexpected. So my second night was something somewhat of a identity crisis. I didn't know who I was. So a bit of a backstory with this. So I had been living a bit of a double life prior to this. I had like a work stage name who I would always go out as. So if anyone asked me my name, I would give this other name, and I would never be me, Sheena. I'd always give out another name, which I've spoken about in one of my shorts. I did this for years, for a very, very long time. And it wasn't until this medicine ceremony that I was actually confronted. So what was happening during the ceremony, I was kept seeing lots of things, lots of Instagram likes, this, and lots of things coming into my head. And I was thinking, why are they showing me things to do with work? I'm here to do this work. I don't want to see anything to do with my actual work. And what happened was, on the screen, well, I was on the screen, in my head, it was almost like a computer screen. It was choose your fighter. So I had me, Sheena, and my alias character that I'd been basically living a life as. And it was almost like it was choose your fighter. So, and the whole thing was very traumatic. Like, I still actually think about it now quite a lot. So what had happened was, I had the two parts of my personality. So the person that's actually me and the person that I wanted to be, and who had more friends, who had more likes, who had this, who had that. And me, Sheena, had nothing because I didn't really live as me, and this character that I was portraying had all the likes, had all the friends and everything, but it was all very, very surface level, all very materialistic, all very shallow. And so what happened was, after that experience, I just thought I was having like a massive identity crisis. I didn't know who I was. I was very confused, crying, very stressed out. Like, it was my second, like, I've done ayahuasca many, many times since, and that was my second experience of doing it. And I still think about that a lot now. It's very prominent in my mind. It's a big, big moment of change for me. So since then, I've done plant medicine, ayahuasca, lots of times, and each time I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, is terrifying. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what she's going to show you, what the medicine's going to show you, because you can go with an intention and you're just going to see whatever she chooses to show you. And I'm so grateful for this journey, for the things that it's shown me, because I am a completely different person now. Doing this and actually coming on YouTube and speaking to you about me, something personal to me, is something that I've never ever thought in a million years that I would ever do, because that was never me. I was always pretending to be this other person for years and years. So since then, I've been to the jungle in Peru, and I've sat with the medicine there. That was like a 10-day retreat. We did it 5 times in a jungle. So what happens is you don't take anything with you really. You don't take no cosmetics, no no phone, no nothing. You don't have any contact with the outside world. You're just there to do the work, and it is intense. The first night there was one of the most terrifying, well, it is the most terrifying nights of my life. A lot of my ceremonies have, so like I said, it started off very shallow, and the way they've progressed, it's gone into doing a lot of deep work on myself and finding out who I am, where I belong, who, people that I love, and a lot of it's gone back to childhood trauma, which I never thought that I would ever be visiting ever again. Things that I thought that had been buried under the carpet, forgotten about, had all come up. But a lot of the experiences were my relationship with my mum and my relationship with my daughter. So I have a daughter, she's 21 years old, and when I had her, I was fairly young, and the relationship that I had with her, like I wanted to give her everything. Like I wanted her to have everything that I didn't have growing up, which was I had nothing growing up. Like I had nothing really materialistic. I didn't have any sort of trips, and I didn't have my mother's love, basically. And what I really wanted to give to my daughter was all the things that I didn't have, but very materialistic. Like I said, I was very shallow before. And so I gave her all those things, but I don't think I gave her the love that she deserved. And that's something that I still think, like, something I'm still working on, but I have worked on a lot. And so the first night of the jungle, so before leading up to jungle, I didn't speak to my mum for about 15 years because she wasn't much of a mum growing up. And as I had my own daughter, I kind of started feeling really resentful towards my mum. So it got to the point where I was just like, I don't really need to speak to this woman anymore. I don't need her in my life. So I didn't speak to her for about 15 years. And then prior to going to the jungle, I thought, I need to make amends. I need to speak to her. And I went to see her. And we had this conversation that I've never thought I would ever have with my mum. She opened up to me about a few things that had happened to her. And sorry, that's a helicopter going over my house. You're going to hear this. Sorry. I opened up to her, and she opened up to me. Well, I didn't open up to her. I've never opened up to my mum because she doesn't listen to me and she just judges me and doesn't understand anything basically. Like, she's not been much of a mum my entire life to me or my brothers. So she told me a few things, and I kind of felt sorry for her, and we had a hug. And she cried, I cried, and I thought in my head that we'd have this amazing relationship. Anyway, fast forward to the first night in the jungle, my first medicine night in the jungle, and my intention was to see what my mum sees, and that is a bad intention. Let's see exactly how she lives her life. And I wish I never ever asked for that, because it was pure hell. It was so traumatic. I have never experienced anything like that in my life ever. I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, my body was just a shell. I was in agony. I couldn't stop purging. I couldn't stop crying. It was the worst experience ever. Like, it was just I don't really have words to explain how bad it was, because it was, at the end, everyone else had come to, and I was still in the medicine, and she was still taking control of me. And before I went, I got this tattoo on my hand. I don't know if you see it. It says surrender. And that's all I wanted to do, was surrender to the medicine and just let it show me what I needed to learn. And I learned a lot that night. It was a full-on experience. Very, very insightful. Anyway, that was the first night in the jungle. After that, thankfully, it got easier. When I say easier, it's never ever easy. It is always hard work. You're doing like that deep, deep inner work in yourself and digging deep. Like no therapist could ever dig that deep. When I tell you like some of the things that I've seen from doing the medicine, I would never share that with a therapist. These are things that I never thought I would never ever visit again. But it's been an experience. I still continue to drink now. I did a ceremony a few weeks ago, and it is that experience it alone was so. Now I'm doing more sort of childhood inner work, childhood trauma to try and fix my inner child, because I didn't have it very easy growing up, and it was, you know, when you think I digress. Sorry, going back to the whole trying to rebuild my relationship with my mum. So after the jungle, I came home and tried to, you know, I had that romantic vision in my head that I've done all this work, and you know, I'm going to go back and I'm going to build this relationship with my mum. I blamed on myself a lot for the relationship that I had with my mum, bearing in mind that I was a child. So I came back thinking, you know, I'm going to see my mum, it's going to be great, and we're going to get on and everything's going to be fine. And it wasn't. And it's been really hard knowing this, but I just put it down to my mum just absolutely hates me, and has always hated me, never really wanted me as a child. Yeah, like she always worked. And then I found out recently from a cousin of mine that she would basically take her holidays from work when I was back at school and stuff. And I don't remember us doing anything nice growing up. And I kind of blame myself for that. Maybe I was a naughty kid, but everyone told me how good a kid I was. So I was always on best behaviour. And anyway, I go off. We're talking about the plant medicine. So since then, I've done more plant medicine, and it has been more work on myself. So the last time I did it, it was again about my mum and my daughter. So my relationship with my daughter since doing the plant medicine I can't even begin to tell you, has improved drastically. Like I completely feel like a completely different person. I'm much more understanding, much more patient. I can have deeper conversations with people. And now with her, like I'm trying to really be the mum that I would have wanted, and you know, be the mum that she needs me to be, and be supportive. She has autism, so she's got extra difficulties that she's trying to deal with. No matter, like she's a young person, but also dealing with autism too, and trying to navigate her way around the world. So I'm trying to really help with that. And yeah, I really want to help young people too now. I want to be the person. So I left home when I was really young, left home at 14, and I never had anyone to be around for me or anything like that. So I basically wanted someone. And now I want to be the person that I needed when I was a teenager, and I needed someone because I had no one. You know, I was basically just navigating the world on my own and just dealing with shit life has to throw at you, basically. But I've always come through stronger. Like someone said to me the other day that I kind of weaponized my trauma, because I always come through stronger and stronger, because I'm always like, no, that shit's not getting me down. I am gonna deal with this, and I'm gonna get through, and I'm gonna power through and do what I need to do. So I digress again. We go back to the medicine. So I did medicine again a couple of weeks ago, and one of the ceremonies, so it was a 3-day ceremony, and one of them was about my relationship with my mum and my relationship with my daughter. And it was also like comparing the two. So it was all the things that my mum didn't do with me, and all the things that I wanted to, like I did for my daughter. So like all the trips, like brownies, all the presents, all the toys, like everything, you know, like Santa, Christmas, bedtime stories, everything, like all of these things that my mum didn't do with me, I basically wanted to do my daughter. And you know, like you overcompensate for all the things that you didn't have. So I was basically overcompensating for this. But one thing that I didn't do was show her the love that she genuinely needed when she was growing up. Like I think I was trying my hardest to love her, but because I didn't even know what love was, it's hard to give love if you don't know what it is yourself, isn't it? And that's where, for me, the medicine has shown me what love is. And like, I'm forever grateful. Whenever I do the medicine, I'm always just saying, can you make me a better person? And like the compassion and the empathy that I have gained from doing the medicine. Like, I see people differently. Like, I see people deeper than what they are now. Like, when I see people walking down the street, I don't see, people are so judgmental, aren't they? Like, you see someone walking down the street and you see them walking down the street and you think, oh, that person must be this, that person must be that. You don't know what the fuck's going on in someone's life, do you? No one knows what's going on in these people's lives. So, like, I know that people probably judge me. They see me, tattoos, everything else, piercings, whatever, like lip filler, Botox and everything, because that's what I look like. But no one knows the shit that you're going through. You know a bit more now, and so this is it. But yeah, I will always be grateful for the plant medicine. And you can see some of my stories on my shorts from the jungle. I've actually booked to go back to the jungle in November, so I'll do some more about that then. But it's changed my life drastically. I never thought I would be the person I am now. Like, I feel so much more peace with myself, so much more content, so much happier. Like, like you find happiness in the smallest of things. Like, even breathing. Oh yeah, my last ceremony. God, I forgot about this. So my last ceremony, I noticed something. So we were outside and I basically kept going to the toilet, and I realised that every time I kept going to the toilet I was holding my breath. And then I realised that I was holding my breath, and then it made me wonder, how much of my life have I been holding my breath? Because I was scared to breathe in front of my mum. Like, you get scared to breathe wrongly, so I would hold my breath in, like, times, this is what I've gathered now since doing that, I would hold my breath in times that are stressful and then exhale. But the last ceremony I was almost given permission to breathe, and this is insane. Like, I was given permission to breathe and enjoying breathing and being grateful for each breath, like grateful for being alive. My childhood wasn't that bad. Like, my mum didn't, like, she'd beat me, but she didn't, like, want to kill me. I tried to kill myself. That's a different story altogether. I tried to kill myself because I hated living with my mum. But that, like, being grateful to be alive is something so deep, and that's what the plant medicine showed me. Like, yeah, it's, but yeah, what else is there? So I'm just, it's quite emotional, really, thinking about it. So grateful to be alive, like all the things it showed me, and it is terrifying. Like I said, it's every time I do it, it's terrifying, but I would never change for this world. I'm so grateful for starting this journey. I'm so grateful for every time I drink it. I'm so grateful for, like, carrying on. And yeah, it is literally like a box of chocolate. You don't know what you're going to get every time. The medicine, like, it's just beautiful and it's relentless, because sometimes you'll have, like, pure love and you want to sit, you sit outside and look at the stars and stuff like that, and sometimes your head is in that bucket and it's not coming out. And for me, sometimes it comes out, this is probably a bit too MI, but it comes out both ends. You have such a bad tummy ache and everything, but each time, even what people might say is a bad ceremony is never a bad ceremony. It's like the lessons, then they're deep lessons. And sometimes these things can't be fixed. So my relationship with my mum, like, I had this romantic view of, like, I was going to come home and it's going to be a perfect relationship. The last time I saw her, it was awful. We had a fight, I left, and said I was never going to see her again. She can't realise that I'm trying to mend our relationship. She's never done anything to try and fix anything. She's so stubborn and angry. But I just see her as a little old lady now that probably might need a bit of company, like lonely old lady. But she obviously didn't want mine. She's never wanted mine. So it is what it is. Well, I say it is what it is. It really hurts, to be honest. Like, really hurts. But you can, what's that saying? Like, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. And yeah. But yeah, I know that people have told me that I was never a bad kid, and doing all this inner work on myself and the childhood trauma work and healing my inner child is going to take some work, but I'm constantly, this is going to be the journey that I'm on right now, and I know that I'm not the problem. And well, yeah, I've, the things that I've done in the past to upset people, I've hopefully fixed those, like fix my relationship with my daughter. That's really what I wanted to fix more than anything, is my relationship with my daughter, because people say to me, like my friends and stuff say to me, that I wasn't a bad mum. But when you feel that guilt, and I think as being a mum, you feel the guilt of being a mother. And I don't think it should always be that. Like, you should always like feel proud of being a mother and stuff. One thing someone did tell me at ceremony is like, how well were you mothered? And that is obviously your role model is your mum, isn't it? And so when I think about how well I was mothered, I think I did a brilliant job, really. But yeah, yeah. But anyway, that's my experience in the medicine. I should probably told more. I'm just ranting about all sorts of things, but yeah, it has been an amazing journey so far. I think there's probably so many more things that I should have said, but here I am trying to remember as much as I can. I haven't got notes. I'm not referring to notes or anything. I'm literally just freestyling here, just speaking, and hopefully you managed to get some of it. And it is a difficult experience to go through. But if you do want to do the plant medicine, honestly, please do it, because it will change your life. It is hard. I'm not going to say it's easy, but healing is hard. It's going to dig up the worst parts of you that you've never wanted to face, and you need to face them, full on, and deal with the consequences of what it's going to show you. And like I said, a bad experience is never a bad experience. It's all there to teach you things. And honestly, so grateful for it. I was atheist as well before I started this journey, and now I know that there's a higher power. There's, we are being guided through this life by something, and I'm just so grateful to have found this medicine. And it is just like the people in Peru, the jungle, just so beautiful. The people that always facilitate, so grateful for them forever. Changed my life, and yeah, it's made me such a much better person, and I'm always grateful.